Hi everybody, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Mark. So today we're going to have a look at a bit of a ride out on the Bandit. I've got to take it down to the workshop because she needs some work on the calipers. They're a little bit sticky. So I hope you enjoy the ride, I hope you enjoy the commentary, and let's get to it. Thank you. So this road is lovingly known as the Twisties. There are some major potholes down here. So if you're wondering why I'm going careful, it's because people tend to swerve into the middle of the road. But obviously you don't want to get over too much because, whoa, big pothole. And this is what they're trying to avoid, this big pothole on the side here. I believe there's one up here, if I remember, from last time I bought the bike out, which is like a motorcycle killer. Somewhere around here. But it is quite to the side. Maybe they've filled that. They do some maintenance. So today we're out on the Suzuki Bandit 600N. She's a very old Bandit. One of the very first manufactured, and she was the love bike of my mate Brian, but unfortunately, like so many other bikes, she's full foul of the ULEZ, which means that if Brian was to keep her, every time he took her out, 12 quid or whatever it is, 15 quid fine, and that's pretty shitty. So, to be quite honest, Brian's not in a position at the moment to afford a new bike that's totally compliant. So what I've done is I've swapped my Goldwing with Brian, because that's tax and MOT exempt, which means that it's ULEZ compliant, or it'll go through the ULEZ without fine or prejudice. The advantage is I get the Bandit as a fully up and running bike. Brian's side of the deal isn't fully running. So we're just going to take her down to the workshop today, and this will be the start of a little bit more work. The front calipers can be a little bit sticky. Not so much the calipers themselves, I think it's more likely the slide pins. So I've ordered pretty much all the parts new, apart from pistons, because the pistons are in really good condition. I know that because I had them both stripped down trying to figure out what was going on. So to be honest, the calipers have actually been overhauled once and re-stripped and cleaned for a second time within the last sort of 3 months to try and cure this problem, and it hasn't. So this is why I'm guessing it's the slide pins. It's a bit of a strange story for the Bandit, really, because I bought the Goldwing. This was going to be my Mark's coming back to biking sort of bike. I always wanted a Goldwing. And then after moving it around the workshop a few times and smashing the hell out my shins, you know, I realised that for me, 6'4" bloke, it's pretty impractical to haul the thing about, you know, and I've got to turn it round every time I take it in and out of my driveway, and in a tight space, you know, 5-point turn sort of thing. So, yeah, it really wasn't going to be my long-term solution. And what made it worse is, especially getting the Bandit, I now realise that I really quite like being a hooligan. I like my big 1100s and 1200s, and I like the power they produce. And although the Goldwing is an 1100, it's not really the same as the ZZR or the ZX12, you know. Now, don't get me wrong, right? This is a 600 Bandit, and although it hasn't got the top end the other bikes have got, this is really quick. It's been slightly geared on the sprockets, I think more through availability than design. And it's been tuned by Steve, Biker Steve, a good friend of mine, who does a superb tune job. And this bike goes like a scolded cat. It really does. It shifts. So, I mean, really, really entertaining. The bike itself is really, really good. I've got no problem with it, but probably when she's MOT'd next, so there's a good 12 months ticket on it, I will put her out for tender, and somebody can have a really good fun bike. So she's tatty, but believe you me, she's mechanically sound. As I say, Steve's done all the engine work, he's done the carb, strip clean, tuned. He doesn't, you know, miss a trick at all when he's doing his best. And I've just put a new front tyre on and a new back tyre. The brakes will have been done. She's had a full service, filters all round, etc, etc. She'll have a damn good clean up. I'm going to flat the tank and re-lacquer the tank, just because I think it looks such a mess with the lacquer peeling. And you know, the bike deserves it, because as I say, she's tatty. She's an old bike, she's had to live outside. But the engine's done 29,000. And for a Suzuki GSF engine, you know, that's like virtually not broken in yet. You know, she's still absolutely 100% fit and capable. So somebody's going to get themselves a really good bike, and even if it's just somebody who wants a bike to commute, not really bothered about the looks, or if it's somebody who just wants to be an absolute hooligan and tear through the streets, it's going to be good. Or I might just keep her. Yeah, don't know. I took out a rider policy, i.e. I've now got the FJ, the ZZR and the ZX all on the same insurance. I could have this one put on for no real cost at all, you know, but then I've got 4 bikes, and the idea is eventually to end up with 2. So as much as I would like to keep her, it's not going to get used properly. She'll deteriorate. It's not a good way to go for a bike with so many beans in the tin. Fucking hell, 25 miles an hour, really? Do we need to do 25 miles an hour? I mean, stick to the limit, yeah. Be respectful, yeah. One thing I won't miss is I made the huge mistake of buying some what looked to be very good quality mirrors off of eBay. Off of Amazon. Now obviously I'm not blaming Amazon for this. It's You know, they're not manufactured or sold under the Amazon brand. But the trouble is you spend all your time adjusting them. There's about 5 points you have to spanner to, you know, get them to fit and work. And then every time the bloody wind blows, the whole lot twists and wobbles about because they are so badly made. And now I'm sat behind another one of my pet dislikes. Look at it, it's kicking out tons of shitty smoke. There's probably about 3 people on it. So not only is it massively more polluting with tyres and everything, you know, but yet they make special lane for it. I mean, are they taking a piss? And then they say, oh no, motorbikes, we'll get rid of them all. Oh, they're terrible things. I've got hardly any tread on the road. Although this isn't ULEZ compliant, I bet it's better than most commercial vehicles. Anyway, rant over. Sorry guys. Right, see if I can get across here. Wearley, the place, honestly, it's a place called Wearley. This is one of my favourite lanes, Crow Lane. Just gives you a little taster of the country right on your urban sort of doorstep. The only problem with this lane is, as you can see, it's pretty narrow and they bring buses down here. Got to admit, normally single deckers, but you know, I mean, you can see it's undulating, let's put it that way. And there's some tight corners here and they come down here in the buses at, you know, stupid speeds for a vehicle that large, and they're taking up 3/4 of the road width, you know, and you've just got to hope to God that you're not going to meet one on some of these corners, because you know you're trying to get your road position, so you've got better visibility, and in a car, you know, you're taking up a fair chunk of lane. There you go. So we're now coming into Tendering Village. And Tendering Village is quite a long village actually. You're probably looking at, I don't know, 1.5 miles long, pretty much all down one road. So it starts off to the right, further down there. Wasn't the best gear selection, but she's good for it. And then, well, I'll, if I remember, tell you when we get to the end of it. But it's nice. There's some nice old cottages, and it's quite a quaint little place. Just better watch the speed. Always try and be respectful through here. You know, it's more about forming a good habit than anything. If you never drive around at 30 when there's really good cause to it, you're probably not going to be doing 30 and you're going to cause problems or get caught. So if in places like this where you really should be sensible, you know, you're doing 30, everyone's happy, habit forming. You know, I mean, my trip out today is just literally to take the bike to the workshop. But bloody hell, just look at that. I mean, the sun's out. It's not warm, but the sun's out. You've got some of the most beautiful scenery. I really like this part of Essex. You know, it's not my ideal scenery. I quite like sort of Wales or the Lake District, in particular the Dales. Yorkshire Dales, I think, are the most beautiful place in the world to me. But still, rolling grassy hills, or, you know, grasses is probably winter wheat and various other stuff, but rolling hills, gentle plains, loads of trees. It's not the worst place to be.
Okay folks, look, I'm stopping the video here for very good reason. From here, we go to the workshop, and the workshop location is secret, okay? I call it the Bat Cave. It's that secret. But more importantly, although it's not a cave, I do have bats. They live in the ceiling. Bats are awesome things. Apart from the fact they poo all over your workshop, and they don't pay any rent, and they're endangered, and you can't do anything to get rid of them. Chuffing freeloaders. Anyway, let's go to the back cave.
Well folks, here we are, we got here, bike's ticking over, looking good. So now it's just a case of loading her up. I'm not going to keep the camera rolling for this because it's going to be a hideous disaster. I'll show you a little bit when I get back in. So one of the reasons it could have been troublesome is the door isn't very wide and there's that lip there. That really doesn't make it any easier. But there she is, she's here for tonight. Maybe tomorrow I'll come down and start stripping these calipers and getting some of the work done. So for now, none-ite.
Well, this is the first of the videos that I'm going to put on YouTube. You've had the ride. We got to the back cave, bike's in the back cave. Tomorrow, we're going to possibly have a look at doing some caliper work on there. And you might be very lucky and get to see some of that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the first video. A little bit rough, a little bit ready, but you know, things will get better. Thank you. And just by the way, you know, if you could click the thumbs up if you enjoyed this. It doesn't cost you anything. It'll help me out a great deal. I'd really, really appreciate it. Until next time, thank you very much.